Olive was standing on a huge green lawn. She was wearing a little hat and a red, white and blue scarf. On the scarf was a little metal brooch. Olive looked up. There was a huge pointy tower in front of her. It looked just like her brooch.
Oh, that's a very tall tower.
It was a wonderful sunny day and lots of tourists were happily strolling around. But there was also a snail sitting all alone and looking rather sad.
Excuse me, can you tell me what this beautiful tower is? It's so tall.
The snail looked surprised.
Don't you know? This is the famous Eiffel Tower.
It's beautiful. I'm Olive. What's your name?
I'm Michel Michisson.
Nice to meet you, Michelle. Why do you look so sad?
Well, I want to climb to the top of the Eiffel Tower to see the Hall of Paris. I have tried many times, but I am so slow that I will never make it before the sun sets. They say it is magnifique. It is my dream.
Olive looked around and saw a clown who was giving out big balloons to the children passing by. The clown accidentally let go of one of the balloons and it floated off into the sky.
Some big balloons that float up into the sky. I think I may have an idea. Excuse me,
Said Olive to the clown.
I wondered if you could help me put a smile on someone's face.
Of course, I am a clown. That's what we do.
Can I borrow a balloon, please?
The clown nodded. Olive took a big red balloon from the clown and tied it around Michelle. But nothing happened.
What are you doing, Olive?
Asked Michelle, confused.
You'll see. Can I borrow another balloon, please?
This time the clown passed a big blue balloon to Olive, who tied that to the snail too. Still, nothing happened.
Oh, you're heavier than you look, Michelle. I think I'm going to need to borrow all those balloons, please.
The clown gave Olive the rest of the balloons, and she tied them all over Michelle and quickly hopped onto his back as he started to lift off the ground.
Oh, Olive, this is amazing.
Okay, we're flying.
They floated higher and higher, passing the first floor of the Eiffel Tower, then the second floor, and finally they were as high as the Eiffel Tower itself. Michelle was thrilled.
Oh, thank you, Olive. Finally, I get to see Paris from above. There is Notre Dame, Sacré-Cœur, and the Arc de Triomphe. Everything is so amazing.
Okay, what a view.
However, after a while, Olive realised she hadn't thought about how they would get back down.
We can't float about here all day.
No, besides, I really could do with some lunch, you know. Maybe a salad.
It was then she remembered the Eiffel Tower brooch attached to her scarf.
Oh, I know what to do.
She took the brooch off the scarf, opened it, and popped one of the balloons with the pin. Then another, then another. They started to drift slowly back down to the ground. People watching clapped and cheered as Olive and Michelle gently landed.
Thank you, Olive. You made me smile again and made my dream come true to see Paris from above. It was a marvelous adventure.
Yes, it was. I'm glad I managed to cheer you up.
They both laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Kirk, actually, I've been flying over Paris on a snail.
Your head's been in the sun too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was sitting on a bench in a quiet city park. She was wearing a mac and sunglasses. Shivered Olive. A squirrel wearing identical clothes to Olive and carrying a small briefcase walked past. He looked around suspiciously, then hopped onto the bench.
The park is pleasant in the autumn.
I suppose it is. My name's Olive. What's yours?
Hello, Agent Olive. I am Red Squirrel. You will find our mission objectives in the case.
Olive curiously opened the briefcase. Inside was a piece of paper with some instructions.
Approach picnic, obtain nuts, escape without being seen.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
Oh, well, why not?
Olive followed Red Squirrel to some large bushes in the middle of the park.
Over there, Agent Olive.
Yes, I see the nuts. Maybe I could distract them while you run up behind and take the nuts.
Okay, but Agent Olive, you must not blow your cover.
Olive noticed a dog bounding around in the distance.
I could disguise myself as a dog. Using these leaves and, this conker. How do I look?
Excellent.
Olive came bounding out in front of the family. The girl and her mum watched Olive curiously while Red Squirrel scampered up behind. But before he could take the nuts, a real dog came charging out of nowhere and chased Olive and Red Squirrel back into the bushes.
Pecking! Watch out!
Okay. We need a plan B.
Olive looked around and spotted an old kite stuck in a hedge.
I know. It's a windy day today. If I tie you to that kite, then the wind will lift you up above the picnic and you can swoop down and snatch the nuts.
A brilliant plan.
Olive carefully tied Red Squirrel to the kite and flew him high above the picnic. But just as he was about to dive, a strong gust of wind came and blew him up into a tree. Olive climbed up to untangle him.
Don't worry. I'll have you free in no time.
Then Olive noticed something. The picnic was directly below them, and so were the nuts.
A kite string? A tree? I think I may have an idea.
Olive made a little harness from the string and tied it round Red Squirrel.
Okay, just need to lower you down.
This plan cannot fail.
She started lowering Red Squirrel down towards the picnic. When he was low enough, Red Squirrel reached out and grabbed the nuts. Olive began slowly pulling him back up, but then the little girl spotted him.
Squirrel! Squirrel!
Code Red, Olive, abort!
Olive jumped and accidentally let go of the string. Red Squirrel came crashing down, dropping the bag of nuts.
Olive, run! Save yourself!
Then the little girl picked up some nuts and offered them to Red Squirrel.
There you go. We brought these nuts to the park today to feed the squirrels. They're meant for you.
Red Squirrel gratefully took the nuts and Olive pulled him back up.
Thank you, Agent Olive. Now I can feed my family for the winter months. Our mission is accomplished. Would you like one?
Delicious. You'd have to be nuts not to like these.
They both laughed. And as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Heck, actually, I helped a squirrel carry out a secret mission.
Your head's been in the sun too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive found herself outside a shiny black door with the number 10 on it. There were lots of people shouting and taking photos.
Prime Minister!
What's a prime minister?
Olive asked the policeman.
Well, our Prime Minister runs this country, the United Kingdom.
He replied.
They're in charge of all sorts of important stuff, like building houses and roads, or whether we have to learn history in school.
Oh, sounds like an important job. And who are all these people?
Journalists, they report everything the Prime Minister says and does and puts it in the news.
Yes, we will build more roads. No, we won't be going into space next year. You must be my new advisor. Come inside.
Olive was suddenly bustled inside, away from the noisy journalist.
Hello, I'm Olive.
Said Olive.
I'm Mr. Political.
Said the Prime Minister.
Well, Mr. Political, I'm not actually a new advisor, but maybe I can help out.
I am very tired, Olive. I wish I could just take some time off and have an ice cream.
Well, I could look after everything for a few minutes.
Could you? Well, I suppose what harm could a few minutes do, hey? Here you go. You can be Prime Minister until I get back. I think I've got some chocolate chip ice cream in the freezer. Don't do anything I wouldn't.
Her Majesty the Queen's here. She wants to have a chat about running the country.
Of course. Send her in.
Hello, where's the Prime Minister?
Oh, well, that's me, Your Majesty. Just for a couple of minutes while Mr. Political has an ice cream.
I see. So what are we planning to do this year?
I'm going to give everyone in the country a bicycle for their birthday.
The Queen clicked her fingers and a butler came running over.
Done. What else?
I think there should be less stuff that people don't like
Peas. Ew, I really don't like peas, but one always has them for tea.
no more peas then.
The Queen summoned the butler again, this time to go and get rid of all the peas in the country.
And it would be nice if it was sunny all the time.
I know a scientist who could help with that. Hello? It's the Queen. Could you pop over?
Olive and the Queen went outside to find Dr. Cleverbrain had arrived with a giant remote control.
There we go, Your Majesty. Nice and sunshiny.
I didn't know it would be that easy.
Suddenly, the Prime Minister burst out through the door, waving a piece of paper.
This report has just arrived. The whole country has stopped work. Everyone is sunbathing or cycling or just cross about not having any peas.
Oh, dear.
How did everything go wrong in the time it takes for me to have an ice cream? Olive, you've got to fix this.
Chocolate chip ice cream. The Queen. I think I may have an idea.
Olive whispered something to the Queen, who whispered to a butler, who rushed off.
I have an announcement. There's going to be free chocolate chip ice cream in every office.
And I rather like chocolate chip ice cream. Toodaloo.
See? Everyone's gone straight back to work.
Nice work, Olive. I'd best get back to the office too.
Of course you should, Prime Minister. I expect you have lots of work to do. And, lots of ice cream to eat.
They both laughed. And as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Heck, actually, I've been very busy being Prime Minister.
Your head's been in the sun too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was in a small, dimly lit room. In front of her were lots of buttons and levers and colourful flashing lights.
Where am I?
Some lights shone out over a beautiful underwater world outside the window.
Geg, what a view!
There were hundreds and hundreds of fish swimming around in front of an enormous blue canyon.
Oh, I'm in a submarine deep in the ocean. I can't wait to explore.
Olive pushed a big red lever marked forward and the submarine dived deep down into the canyon. Olive spotted the opening to a cave.
Interesting.
Said Olive as she drove her submarine right into the cave.
It's even darker in here than it was before.
Olive drove through a big patch of seaweed.
Oh no, now I can't see where I'm going.
The seaweed suddenly came to life and picked up the submarine.
Ow!
Then in the headlights loomed the big green face of an octopus. Hello, bubbled the octopus.
Geg, who are you?
My name's Jonah. I've been trapped inside this whale for days. It's so good to finally meet someone new.
My name's Olive. But what do you mean trapped inside the whale? I just drove into a cave.
Oh no, that was a huge whale's mouth you drove into, Olive. And now he's closed it shut. There's no escape.
Geg, that doesn't sound good. We need to make the whale open his mouth again. Maybe I could turn my engines all the way up and then the bubbles will make the whale cough. Then we can escape when he opens his mouth.
Olive turned the submarine's engines onto full power and the water started to bubble up.
Oh, that didn't work.
But then the bubbles Olive had made tickled Jonah on the tummy.
Oh, those bubbles tickle.
An octopus with 8 legs. Tickling? I think I may have an idea. Jonah, if you use all your legs, you can tickle the inside of the whale's stomach and make him laugh. Then we can escape through his mouth.
Oh, I think that might just work.
He stretched out his 8 long arms and began to tickle the whale's tummy.
Tickle harder! Tickle harder!
Cried Olive. Jonah tickled as fast as he could. A wall of bubbles started rushing down the tunnel towards Olive and Jonah.
Watch out!
Pecking! What's happening?
I think we might be going out of the top.
The top?
Olive and Jonah were fired out of the whale's blowhole, up high in the sky. Then they started to fall back towards the water.
Wow!
Jonah clung to Olive's submarine with his 8 tentacles as they fell. His body inflated like a parachute, drifting them both gently down to the surface of the water.
Well, that was a lovely, gentle landing.
Oh, thanks so much, Olive. I'm free at last.
That's okay. I think we've all had a whale of a time.
They both laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Okay, actually, I've been helping an octopus escape a whale.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure. Olive was standing on a steep slope covered in crunchy white snow. It was very cold. She was wearing a thick, puffy coat and a bobble hat.
I'm glad I've got these warm clothes.
Oh, yes, you can say that again.
Said a voice. Olive turned to see a little man with a huge bushy beard. He was only wearing a vest and pants. He was shivering quite a lot.
I'm Olive. Pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you. I'm Sir Edmund Hillertop, a famous mountaineer. I climb all the tallest mountains.
Oh, so is this a tall mountain?
Tall? Olive, old bean, this is Mount Everest, the tallest mountain in the world, and I'm climbing to the summit.
But, Sir Edmund, what's happened to all your clothes? Aren't you cold?
Oh, there was this huge gust of wind. It blew away all my warm clothes, along with my map, compass, and packed lunch. So now I'm rather chilly, hungry, and lost.
Well, I'm not sure how to help. I'm no mountaineer.
Suddenly, there was an enormous growl. Out from behind a rock jumped a huge, fairy, man-shaped thing. It was growling, and it didn't sound at all happy to see them.
Oh, that's the infamous Yeti! Run for it before he eats us for his dinner! Wait! He's got my map, compass, and packed lunch! Oi! Give those back!
Oh, I think that's the last we'll see of those. Oh dear. I think he's still hungry. Maybe he's going to eat us next.
She had to think fast.
Sir Edmund, do you have any food at all?
Well, I do have my emergency cupcake. Always keep one tucked away.
A cupcake? A hungry Yeti? I think I may have an idea.
Olive took the cupcake from Sir Edmund and held it out to the Yeti. The Yeti grabbed the cupcake and gobbled it down. Yum, said the Yeti. He seemed very happy.
Oh, I think he wants your poles too, Edmund.
Said Olive. Edmund handed them over. The Yeti used them as needles to knit a long scarf out of his own fur. He gave it to Edmund. Edmund wrapped the scarf around himself.
Well, thanks very much. This Yeti scarf really is very warm.
I think he wants to lead us to the summit of Everest.
Said Olive. So Olive and Sir Edmund followed the Yeti all the way to the summit.
We've conquered Everest!
Beamed Sir Edmund.
And you're the first ever ostrich to climb it. Congratulations, Olive.
That's lovely. But how do we get down again?
Suddenly, the Yeti gave Olive and Sir Edmund a push. They went sliding all the way down Mount Everest on their bottoms, and the Yeti slid down behind. Cried Olive as she slid. At the bottom, they ended up in a snowdrift.
Oh, that was fun.
Thanks so much for all your help, Olive.
I think you've got yourself a new mountain climbing best friend forever.
Chuckled Olive. They all laughed, and as they did, Olive realised it was time to go.
Typical Olive, daydreaming again.
Said her mum.
Cake? Actually, I climbed Mount Everest and met a Yeti.
Your head's been in the sand too long, dear.
Said Olive's dad. Her little brother laughed. But Olive wasn't listening. She was already dreaming of her next big adventure.